How long were you recording? Well, how long did this recording process take at Skywalker?
The primary recording took 2 days. We got 75% of it done on day one and then another couple songs on the second day. That was just for the instrumentals. Then we went to a church in San Francisco called St. Dominic's where we recorded a church choir in the church along with the church organ. And that took another 2 days, one day for the organ, one day for the choir. And then we spent 2 days at Capitol Records in Hollywood, where we did one day with Kurt Elling, one day with Tierney Sutton, and then they sang a duet together on one day. So what is that? That's about 7 days of recording.
Now, is that normal to record in so many different venues and blend it all together? You would think the sound and everything would be just different from each track or something.
It can be. The original plan was to record the choir at Skywalker as well on the same soundstage. This was coming out of COVID, and Disney, who owns Skywalker Ranch, had a very strict COVID test policy that you had to have a PCR test within 24 hours of the session, and most of the choir failed. So we had to cancel the choir recording sessions at Skywalker, and
Meaning they were COVID positive?
they were COVID positive or they didn't get their test results back in time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And by the way, that happened on the band recording session too. A good story is when people started getting their PCR tests back, people who didn't even know they were sick had tested positive. Like, I don't know if they were false positives or what.
Or they're just asymptomatic. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a producer contractor, I had hours to find a replacement, somebody who could go get a rapid PCR test and show up to Skywalker within hour. Like, I'm making calls at 7 a.m. Can you be Skywalker by 9 a.m. with a negative COVID test?
Wow.
And I went through a lot. Yeah, we had 5 or 6 people test positive. So 5 or 6 out of a band of 16, right? So we're talking about a third of the band having to be replaced on the day of the recording session. So 2 of the trumpet players who tested positive, and I got their replacements. And one of them who I had called didn't get his test results back in time. And he called another trumpet player, and they met outside the gate of Skywalker, and he got in my friend's trunk, and they snuck him in through the gate because he didn't have a negative test result. And they didn't tell me about this until after the recording session. They wanted to give me plausible deniability. They're like, hopefully they don't count the number of musicians on the sound stage and find out that they're missing one test. And they didn't, everything was fine. But when they told me afterwards what had happened, I thought it was the most hilarious thing I've ever heard, that we had to sneak a trumpet player in the trunk of a car because they didn't have a negative COVID test on them.